All right, we'll start the meeting. We'll start with presentation of funding applications. We'll go first with Palace City Baseball Association and Adam Cowes.
Hello, everyone. Thanks again for having us back. I'm Jordan Whitstrom, and this is Adam Cowes. We are representing Palace City Baseball. When we last met in December, this committee, I think, wisely tabled a decision on our grant request, seeking clarity or resolution on three particular topics, and so let me quickly summarize those. First, regarding our nonprofit status, we did receive a letter from the IRS on January 9th, which you should all have in front of you, officially designating PCBA as exempt from federal income taxes under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. This also means, of course, that charitable contributions made to PCBA, as the IRS defines them, are tax deductible. This was a very necessary step of our formation and opens up a realm of discounts and grants available to nonprofit organizations, so we're glad to have that completed. Second, as I'm sure you are all now aware, Legion Baseball is back in Mitchell. 5 of our board members, along with local Post 18 Representative Rich Hofer, attended the American Legion Athletic Commission's meeting in Pierre on January 11th. This meeting was originally scheduled for December, but had to be rescheduled due to weather. At that meeting, PCBA was welcomed as a new member into their league. PCBA will field both a senior and junior Legion team in 2026 with no restrictions imposed on our schedule. We also have welcomed American Legion member Mark Thomas onto our board of directors, who has volunteered for that role and has already been a very welcome contributor to our cause. We were utterly thrilled to bring this news back to the Mitchell community. For us, it validates the path that we've taken in forming a new association, but more than anything, we understand how much this means to current and future Legion baseball players in Mitchell. Third, when we last met, there were some questions regarding funding sources for MBA and PCBA. We realized that 2 baseball associations serving Mitchell is a new situation, but I want to say that we're very excited about the future of Mitchell's baseball programs, believing they are positioned to thrive once again. As part of our agreement with MBA, PCBA's fundraising opportunities would include the annual Pop Drive with Pepsi's partnership, and the Class A State Youth Baseball Tournament, which will next be held in Mitchell in 2027, and we expect 2028. In early January, our director of baseball, Charlie Dubinowski, was contacted by Jocko, who offered that PCBA administer the Harv Johnston Ryan Wilson Memorial Youth Baseball Tournament, traditionally held on Father's Day weekend. First, let me say that it would not be fitting to speak of this event simply as a fundraiser or only as a source of revenue. To do so risks a lack of respect for what it represents and the individuals it honors. And I don't want to do that. This was no small gesture by Jim, and I want to publicly thank him and MBA for it. To me, this demonstrates support for what PCBA is doing and continued support for youth baseball in Mitchell. PCBA is delighted to promote and administer that tournament. We have published it on the South Dakota Class A baseball website and have received around 10 registrations so far. And yes, it does also represent a significant fundraising opportunity for PCBA going forward. Based on an anticipated 30 teams, similar to past years, we project around $13,200 in income and registration for gate fees. Our expenses will include umpire wages, baseball, city field fees, and possibly rental of the youth pitching mounds owned by MBA. Those expenses may total around $8,500, yielding a potential profit of around $4,700. In addition, I previously said that we may not be able to host any home tournaments or events in 2026, just given the timing of everything that went down. However, after our breakthroughs in January, our baseball director went to work on finishing our schedules. In addition to full home and away baseball schedules for all 4 of our teams, we are now planning a 13 and 14 and under home tournament the first weekend in June, and a home Legion tournament the last weekend of June. We have invited both Class A and B programs to participate and hope to host around 8 teams in each tournament, including our own. Both will be 3-day events, Friday to Sunday, meaning restaurant and likely hotel business in Mitchell. We believe these events are positioned to grow in future years. Finally, I wanted to provide an update of our fundraising efforts. We have set a goal of $70,000 for sponsorships and donations, a number that would put our financial books in a healthy position after our inaugural season. Generous individuals and businesses have made contributions to our cause. We have launched a sponsorship program with advertising opportunities and have taken that to many local businesses. We're also now planning a poker tournament and silent auction at the Moose Lodge on April 11th with the help of the Boss Fund, an event we're very excited about. It could be very beneficial for our program. To date, we have secured $40,800 in donations and sponsorships, 58% of our $70,000 goal. Folks, we've come so far and we're so close. We just need a little more help. We are humbly requesting a grant from the Sports and Event Authority to help launch our inaugural season and position us for future success. Our largest expenses are for umpire wages for the home tournaments and games I've mentioned, and it is for these expenses that we would like to use any grant funding that you would be willing to provide. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. And of course, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
I don't have any questions, but thank you guys for what you're doing. I know you're working hard, and it's a great deal. I just wanted to clarify something so you know where this group is coming from a little bit. I think everybody at this table is supporting you 100%. We all like what you're doing. We're glad to have baseball back. Our situation is just to fund a organization is not the function of this group.
Understood.
And I even took it to the bid board, which is Motel Owners Group, when they met here, 3 weeks ago, Aaron, probably a month ago, whatever it was, and explained the situation that you guys had come to us and asking for funding and so on and so forth, because I thought maybe they would make a one-time type contribution on just through their board rather than this board. They kind of what this group discussed in the past is that we fund events. I am happy to see you guys got 3 tournaments. That opens the door for this group, okay? Because basically that's what this is about. And we talked about it, and they said it would be a precedent they don't want to get into just to fund an organization. Because, all right, 3 months from now, a soccer group decides to break off, and we want to start our own, or anything. You know where I'm coming from, and this is about putting people in rooms and having them stay in Mitchell. So you have answered that by bringing in some tournaments. So that's where we're at. I mean, we're behind you, but that's how we have to fund through. We can't just donate to a group.
Completely understood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, those events, as I mentioned, I think they're positioned to grow. Obviously, those at that age level, typically you're advertising those events more in the fall of the previous year. Obviously, that wasn't possible in this situation, but we believe that can grow. Mitchell's got great facilities thanks to, what MBA and the city of Mitchell has put into that in the past years. We're in a great location. Yankton, Brookings, Watertown, Pier. Everybody wants to come here and play. So I think those are events that, we don't know how many teams we're going to get. We're hoping for about 8. We think that's realistic. But we think that those are positioned to grow in future years. So I think your investment, should you still be so generous to do that, would not be in vain for your purpose.
I'm going to try and form this into a question, but my son obviously went through baseball and I went through the gamut of tournaments and stuff, but the Harps tournament is no knock to the tournament, but you're seeing teams dwindle every year. There used to be 50 teams, now there's 30. And teams used to come on Friday night and Saturday night, stay 2 nights. Now it's a one-day deal and they're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
How would you get that? What do you think you could do to get that back up?
Well, I would say, if you look at our completed schedules, our teams are playing in tournaments almost every weekend, and almost all of them are Friday to Sunday engagements, if not Thursday to Sunday engagements. So, I guess I can't speak to that. I mean, we're definitely playing in 3-day type of tournaments, and that's really the basis for why the home event that we'd like to have would be that.
I mean, are there some things that you can do outside of the games to keep the kids here or to keep the parents here? I know like scheduling, for example,
Mm-hmm.
we used to play in Aberdeen and we get scheduled to play at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you
Right.
had to go the night before.
Right.
Now they're saying, well, if you do that, the team won't come. You think that's true?
No, I don't think so. I think
They'll
teams
still
want to.
come, won't they?
Yeah, I think teams want to come here and play, and they want to play our teams.
You know, and some things that I've seen happen in other tournaments, they'll have like a home run derby for the kids to see who can hit out so many out of the park or whatever.
Yeah.
A velocity on their pitching machine or whatever. The pitching.
Yeah.
So just some things to keep the kids here and keep them enticed
Yeah.
to stay at the field after their games.
I like that, and then again, that makes that a 3-day commitment make all that more worthwhile, and so I don't think that there are towns that say, well, we're going to schedule this team that's 2 hours away to play at 8 a.m. We don't. Typically, they're pretty good about that, and we would too, obviously. But yeah, I like what you're
And
getting
it's
at there.
not just baseball. I mean, hockey does it, soccer does it. Everybody's starting to try and get away from the overnight stay, but that's what this organization is all about, is
Yeah.
putting heads in bed. So,
Yeah.
some way to keep them here one night or at least one night, not two.
We'll bear that in mind.
You're specifically talking about the
You,
youth baseball,
Yeah.
not the,
not the Legion.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Will you guys have some 12 and under teams, 10 and under teams, or are you just
Not-
Keeners and Legion?
We are just 13, 14U. So 13U team, a 14U team, a junior legion, and a senior legion team. That's 2026. In 2027, we do have full intentions of extending that down into the.
But the youth
underage
tournaments,
levels.
Dave, the youth tournaments are 12 under, even though they're not involved with 12 under. But the youth
they're
tournaments
running
that they will put on are
But
12
you're
under.
running the
Yeah,
Hearts
Correct.
tournament,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah,
you can't
the Harv Johnston Brian Wilson Memorial Tournament is a youth tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that we will have this year. We hope that there'll be more in future years.
when do you think you'll know on the Legion tournaments when you'll be able to get teams together and when you can come before us and say we've got we do have the 8 teams and they are going to stay overnight?
Yeah, I would think by in the next month, 4 to 6 weeks. That was posted in February, just as soon as we could, and we had the news we were going to be able to do that. We're putting those on weekends we think are open for a lot of teams that would come here. I need to check. The last I knew Winter had registered for the Teener tournament. I don't know if we've got any others just yet. But again, that they're going to be filling out their schedules. The other thing I'd comment is our director of baseball was fielding some calls about just scheduling other games from a lot of the Class B programs, which sort of indicates, okay, those Class B programs are just now starting to schedule they put their schedules together. So we have every expectation to get some more Class B teams, especially coming.
Jordan, too, and you told me who your board members are.
Yeah.
Do any of them not have a kid playing?
Mark Thomas from the American Legion does it. Yeah.
So would you consider putting some board members on there that don't have kids that are
Yes.
playing? Because
Do you have anyone in mind?
That's one question people have asked me
Mm-hmm.
is, will this organization be here in 5 years, 10
Yeah.
years, 20 years?
You
Like the NBA was.
That's a really, really good question. What we've tried to build is something that's sustainable for future years. If you look at our bylaws, we've written it such that we have term limits and a maximum number of terms. And, next week we're going to have a meeting with all the parents of the organization. We're going to explain to them, look, this isn't our association. This is Mitchell's association. And we need involvement from the community to take it forward. I think that what we've structured is something that will be sustainable. And we're very interested in getting some board members onto our board that aren't just parents, because it's healthy to have a good mix of that.
Thank you.
Love to talk to you about that, honestly.
I have some names for you.
Sure.
What would probably make the most sense is that once you find out about your Legion tournaments in June and you know when the Harv Johnston Brian Wilson is, I mean, it would seem to me that the easiest thing to do would be able to come in front of this group and say, we do have these 3 events and these are how many teams are going to be in those events. Then that would make it easier to figure out from this group how much money to give you to help support those events.
Understood.
But without knowing for sure if you're going to be able to have the Legion tournaments, you can get enough teams. you know, it's kind of tough to give money until you realize how many teams you're bringing to town and everything. That makes it easier to make that decision.
Sure, that's fair.
Any other question for these guys? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to 301 Rods and Rides Car Show.
Jerry Wright, 301 Rods. Same car show we're always having. It's the old Outcast show. 22nd year for the show. Second year without the Outcast name specifically on top of it, just because the Outcasts are no longer running it. 3-day event again. Friday night we'll have a pre-registration cruise night. Saturday is the day of the event, the car show, and Sunday morning we've got the Hitchcock Park booked again for coffee and donuts. Just get together. Last year we had 160 cars in the book, not counting club cars. We had 200 cars on Main Street. We were between 60 and 70 motel rooms Friday night and 20 to 30 for Friday and Saturday. So that gives you an idea of where we're at for getting people to town, keep them in town. Main sources of expenses that we'll use the funding for, advertising and awards. One thing that we have done with our show and we will continue to do, anybody that has been in the show in the last 10 years gets a personal invitation from our club mailed directly to them, inviting them back. Everybody that's at the show that previous year or that year, we send thank yous to. So that's another thing that we do that we use money for is postage and thank yous and invitations to personal people that have been at the show on top of our flyers that go out to every car show, everywhere as far as we can reach out. So that's basically where we're at. Got any questions?
Your request is 1,500, is that right?
Yep, that's correct. Which I think that's what we did the first 5 years when the Rods were doing it personally. That's what we got. I think last year it got bumped down to 1,000. We'd requested 1,500. And I know Ford, I think, bumped it down to 1,000 last year, but we're asking for 1,500 again.
Is it mostly for awards?
So it's a combination. Obviously, we go out and fundraise for the event also. Our main goal, we're also a nonprofit. Our goal is to have enough in the kitty if we're a complete rain out so that we're not bankrupt and not able to do the event next year. So between any money that we get from you guys or any of our sponsors, what we like to do is have the entire show covered for the year in case we have a giant rain out and nobody shows up and we don't get a single entry fee. It doesn't bankrupt us and we're still able to put the event on the next year. So that's our goal with funding, I guess. Anything at the end of the year goes back. We usually split it between 2 Mitchell groups. Anything that we make goes back aside from what we need to hold back for the next year to keep the event rolling. So.
Any other questions for Jerry? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Next, we'll go to NIA Women's Basketball National Championship, first and second round with Jason Christensen.
If I'm on, am I on? There we go. This is something we've been trying to get. I think this is the 4th year we've tried to get this so we could host here in Mitchell. We finally have gotten it now. So we're excited about it. I will tell you, since it's been announced, it has been a little more work than what I thought it was going to be. But Dave and Ross have done a really good job of, helping out with those things. Dave has been really, really good, just coming up with some ideas. I've been in the national tournament now the last, I don't even know what it is, but the last few years where we've went to other places, we've had some okay experiences and not so okay experiences. So, like I was telling Dave and Ross, I want to put this event on so the NAI looks at this and says, this is how you're supposed to do it. And I think we're on the right track for that. So a couple of things with the expense sheet, page 8 of 57 here. I want to correct a couple things. So I threw these numbers together and gave these to Aaron, and then I had to switch them again, and now I got to switch them again because of the officials. Today was the deadline. So on the official assignments go out over the weekend, and they have to either accept them or decline them by a Sunday. And then today's the day where that they go out again and get other officials or whatever. But today we figured out by noon who our officials are, and also the ones that are staying the night and not staying the night. So as far as my ref expense, because I'm paying mileage for the refs and stuff too, that's going to be a little over 4,400 is what that bill is going to end up, because we have to pay that, and we also pay for their rooms. And I didn't know what to do here, because I just figured, you know, you have an alternate official and then you have your 9 officials. That room expense is only going to be a little over 1,400. So I didn't want. I just wanted to be transparent with this. I asked for 10,000. I'm really going into this blind, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what kind of crowd we're going to get. Dave can speak here in a second on ticket sales, but I don't know. I'm nervous with Parkston, Ethan, Mitchell, Corsica, Stickney, Wagner. Those guys attend our games a lot. They come into a lot of our games, especially when we're there on the weekends. And with them being in the state tournament too, which I'm glad they are there, I just don't know what kind of fan base we'll necessarily get. We do get to keep the ticketing, so that's what we make off of it, is whatever we bring through the door. But these are our expenses to host it. So, any questions with that?
So the 12,500 that goes to the NAIA, that's theirs, and then
Yep.
teams are responsible for their hotels and meals once they get here.
Yep.
So you don't have to pay any part of that deal. Then.
Nope, I don't have to pay any of that. Basically, what we write the check to the NAI Jocko for would be the NAI pays the officials too, and then they send us the 12,500 we owe them, and then we owe them for the whatever the officials expense for the cost of refereeing and mileage. The NEI pays them right away with that, and then they bill that to us, is basically how that works. And then, of course, we pick up their rooms.
Do you have any idea about the kinds of crowds that you got at other places you went to? I mean, you get tremendous support here in Mitchell, probably more than a lot of those other teams.
Yeah. When we went to Langston, we had the biggest crowd. And so you take.
When you were at where?
Langston. You take the 14 parents we had there times 2. So we had about, with my wife and a few other fans, 35 there. And we had the biggest crowd. So there's nobody that goes to these. Central Methodist was better. They had, because they weren't on spring break at the time. So like I said, I don't know what to expect. I think are we at 500 pre-sale tickets right now? So that's what we have sold so far for ticket sales. I don't know.
Talk about rooms a little bit, teams, because it's Friday, Saturday, but we were talking that some are coming in as early as Wednesday or.
Yep. So we'll have all the teams will be here Wednesday. All 3 teams will be here Wednesday.
Okay.
Did Eastern Oregon, are they coming in tonight?
No.
They're coming in Wednesday. Okay. So Eastern Oregon is flying in tonight, but I think they're flying into Omaha late. So they're staying there and then driving up. And so all the teams will come in on Wednesday, and then they'll stay. I do know, and this is terrible, probably going to jinx me. I know St. Francis is going to stay through Saturday, no matter what happens. So that means, sometimes some of the teams will go back right away. I never did. We stay there for the whole tournament. But I mean, if you get beat out on Friday, you have that option. But a lot of them don't, for the reason they're not going to check out of their room at 11 o'clock and have no place to hang out or whatever. So most of them, yeah. So you'll have 3 teams, 3 nights.
So you're some tournament passes, Dave, or you're doing by session? How it works?
You can buy it either way. What we decided in the end was you can buy single game tickets, and the superstitious folks in the area who don't want to put the cart before the horse are buying those. And then there are some tournament passes, and they're very confident in their Tigers, and they're buying passes.
So most of the Mitchell area people who support Westland are buying the pass.
Yeah, and I think I've been in the box office the last couple of days, and I know we're setting up will call, and there must be 150 will call tickets, if not more, that are coming from out of town, and I don't have any way of knowing exactly if they're alumni, if they're now starting to be some of the other schools. I know that some of the other schools. We sent out a letter yesterday, and then the NAI official followed up with a letter to the teams again himself, which was a duplication, but it was a way to say that to contact me and run your tickets and that through there, along with all your Ross put together, I believe, hotel information and everything else with it. Food. Joel Reinish has been part of being the liaison for athletes and from the other schools, just like he is at Wesleyan, if I'm saying that right, Jason. Yeah. So.
And I've watched all the three teams that are coming here on film, and I will tell you their conference championship was nothing like ours was at Dort. I will tell you that. So there was not a lot of people in the stands.
Who's the third team? Where's St. Francis out of?
Chicago,
And who's the last one? I don't read it.
Ozarks.
Eastern Oregon, and Ozarks.
They follow pretty good, usually. Ozarks done.
Yeah, and they played at an independent site, so that might have been why there wasn't a lot of people there on film.
On your expenses, is everything else pretty firm, you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure on security. We have to have police officers here, but I'm not sure on that. We have to have an ambulance here. I am sure on that because I contacted them. But yeah, I think everything else is pretty right on. The big one is 12,500. I thought it was only 7,500 to host, but that's volleyball at the time. Basketball's 12,500 to host.
Any other questions for Jason?
Well, this has been a lot of work. I mean, I know I know it just didn't happen this past week. You guys have been planning on hosting this, and you've done a great job. And I don't.
Thank you.
You tried last year too, right?
Last couple of years we have. We put in the last 3 years.
Thanks for doing it, Jason.
All right.
Got a lot of good help.
We'll move on to the approval of the last meeting's minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Kevin. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion passes. We'll go to the financial report.
Okay, the first page of financials is included in your packet there. I also have it here shortly here up on the screen. This is year to date as of March 5th, 2026. Our current expenses, so all the award checks have been written and sent out, 61,100. That leaves a current available fund balance of 88,900. The total collections, the $2 per room per night collection, the collections that were submitted in February for the month of January was 14,670. That has one establishment past due. That is a year-to-date collections through February of $31,261, and that equates to 15,631 room nights. Comparisons to the last 6 years, 2025 down 13.5%, 2,114 room nights. 2024 down 8.3%, 1,303 room nights. 2023 down 4.4%, 684 room nights. 2022 down 3.9%, 2021 up 14%, and 2020 down 16.5%. And I guess I can just share right away. Obviously, we're down in previous years. January, we did not we hosted the Dakota Yate Challenge this year in February. So that's not going to account for the entire differential in room nights from this year to last year. But they were, so hopefully we'll see the spike next month when we get those collections. And then I guess event-wise, we hosted 6 events in January in 2025, 7 events here in 2026. I guess, economy, maybe a little bit. And then I know a couple QR codes that were submitted for swimming, they stayed at Airbnbs. So I'm not saying that accounts for the entire difference here, but those are, I guess, a couple fine-tuned reasons, options.
Aaron, how big is the one payment we're still outstanding? Is it
Last
decent, or-
last couple years, it'll get us just probably just 14,800. It'll just be $60 to $120
Oh, okay.
for total collections.
Any other questions on the financial report? We can entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jocko. Second by Larry. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion passes. Valuation forms and financial surveys.
Okay, I will continue rolling through that here. We had 3 of them submitted here. The first one was for the Palace City 8-Ball Open. That took place last year, November 14th through the 16th of 2025. Exceeded expectations. They were very supportive, very grateful. Just give me a moment here. We'll see if we can get through this here. We may have to review the evaluation forms at your convenience here, unless I can get my voice back here. Let me just step out for a moment here.
It's going around.
Keep it over there. I got a big week. Keep it over there.
Maybe it's just 50.
Do you guys have any questions? You just want to move on?
We'll try this shortly again, but really, I wish that was the case. Maybe. Okay, evaluation forms. Palace City 8-Ball Open. Very grateful for their support that the SCA awarded. Total spectator attendance of 50. They had 88 pool players. The states listed there. They estimated about 56 room nights. This year's date is October 2nd through the 4th. And then again, SCA awarded $4,000, paying off the operating expenses. And they also had a net profit of $1,492.16. Just carries over to next year. The South Dakota Fire Instructors Conference, that was this January 10th and 11th. The event met expectations. 130 attendees. They accounted for 150 room nights. They're unsure of the location. Obviously, it's a board decision, but I know Justin will still push for us to host it here again. SCA awarded $4,800. Funds used to pay for the instructor and additional associated costs. They did include in a P&L net income of $12,982.08. And the last one, Middle School All-State Jazz Band, January 30th through the 31st. A 4 above expectations. Again, greatly appreciated the support SCA awarded. 190 spectators, 38 students. Next, 2027, it'll be January 29th and 30th. And then the SCA awarded $1,500 that went to pay for their 2 guest directors. And then a P&L $240.39 just carries over into the South Dakota Music Educators Association budget to continue to host these events. Okay, so we got through evaluation forms. I will keep Play Easy short. Just a couple notes. Obviously, the big question, so we have not secured any events yet through it. Active communication, conversations continue with the American Junior Golf Association. And then most recently here, I sent an email to the Royal Events Cheer and Dance Championship, just to get more logistics as far as what they expect, to see if it makes sense for us to potentially put in a bid for this, be host potentially here at the Corn Palace. And then just a couple items to highlight kind of the progress and features of the platform. The first one is this promotional coupon here. Basically, it gets handed out to the event organizer. The QR code on the coupon that takes, once it's scanned, it takes the interested party to any active promotions that are going on during their event. Currently, we do have 14 local businesses. I do want to share those that have taken the time to sign up, create their account, and now that gives them access to be able to manage their event or their local business profile microsite. So Area Community Theater, Blarney Sports Bar and Grill, Bradley's Pub and Grill, Cattleman's Club Steakhouse, Culver's, Main Street Mercantile, Mitchell Chamber of Commerce, Pizza Ranch, Subway, the world's only Corn Palace, Triple Play Pond, and the Watering Hole. And then I think if I refresh this, we just had today, we had the Vault as well. They just created their profile as well, and we'll have an opportunity to promote their business and add promotions for the events coming up. Yeah, we have the Vault as well. And lastly here, the activity leaderboard. So this is within the Play Easy platform. Us as a destination, based on unique users' views, out of 328 within this platform, we were number 1 for actually almost a month straight. And then we've been in the top 5 here the last 3 months or so. And that again takes into consideration all the event views, whether it goes to our destination profile right here, or if it's any event microsite. So for example, most recently, and it's still, these are updated every day daily, but these are from the past 30 days. So we can still see the DW and Culver's girls and boys high school basketball classic is still number 5, because it takes into consideration other events that are going on, and they have not surpassed what this event has for total page views and total unique users as well. And if I could share with my voice here, another opportunity that we were given, the Play Easy is rolling out the Artificial Intelligence Compass. It is a AI feature within Play Easy, and we are one of the select destinations that have been given the opportunity to use it, see how it works for free of cost. And basically, anybody that goes to our destination profile or an event page, this symbol is available for users to be able to go in and find more information about Mitchell, South Dakota, and stuff going on while they're here. We have had some, actually over the weekend, we have had some that have taken the opportunity to use the artificial intelligence. The power of it is based on the amount of information within our microsite. So obviously, the more detail, the more information, the more accurate information that we're able to put in there, the more accurate information, the responses they're going to get, as far as responses go. So this last weekend we had one AI asking about a game time for the Saturday game. Then we also had just a couple food reach outs as far as recommendations to go closest to their venue. So I guess some exciting things with this. Definitely, I will say it's definitely been educational and very, very helpful to a lot of good things from the event organizers as far as being able to utilize it. And then I won't go through all of them here, but we do have the upcoming events here. The SEA events from now until our next meeting in April. And they're listed on the agenda as well. Mitchell Chamber events calendar for a complete list. And then Mitchell, South Dakota events Facebook. Go ahead and follow that. Updates daily on that as well.
All right, we'll make a motion to enter into executive session. Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Tim. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. We'll go to the executive session.
Yeah, there's people. No, he's there.
He's got to plug in his computer again.
All right, we're back on now. We'll go with the first presentation is NIA Women's Basketball National Championship. The request is 10. Is there any? I'll make a request to give them 10.
No second.
Motion by Kevin, second by Tim. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion passes.
I'll abstain.
With Jason and Dave abstaining. Okay, second, Palace City Baseball for 15,000.
I'd make a motion for 2,500 for each tournament that they hold this year, this summer. And I would also put on there if a tournament's not held, that those funds get sent back.
Motion by Dave for 2,500 a tournament, total 7,500 if they have all three of them.
I second that.
Second by Scott. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion passes. 301 Rods and Rides Car Show for 1,500.
I'll make a motion to give them 1,500.
I second that.
Motion by Jason, second by Kevin. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion passes. Next meeting will be April 14th, 2026.
I got a question.
Question for Tim.
We haven't put the mayor on the hot seat yet.
Uh-oh.
It was brought up, who brought it? Somebody brought up something with people staying in town and staying at at VRBOs.
Yes.
It seems to me there's getting to be a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about it. Does the city license them, or is there a way to collect from them? I know nothing about it.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but VRBOs are considered the same as lodging, which is regulated by the state. And then VRBO collects those taxes and then distributes them accordingly. Does that sound accurate?
For entertainment tax, I'm not sure about the bid tax because that's specific to,
Yeah, a certain number
hotels,
of
motels.
rooms, right?
and they
But
wouldn't
there's
meet
no
that.
way to get them included in a.
Right, because any hotel that's less than 20,
28.
20,
Oh yeah,
26 rooms
26,
is
yeah.
exempt from the bid tax.
Okay.
Right. But if you list on VRBO and Airbnb, they collect all those fees on behalf of the owner and then automatically get distributed.
So they are paying the entertainment tax, but they would not be required to pay the bid tax because they wouldn't have that many rooms.
I used to be a super host on Airbnb. That's the only reason I know that. So
Do you have the? I don't want to say power, authority to tax them anywhere, or license them, or anything, a fee or anything that
I
would
don't
come
believe-
back.
I don't believe a city municipal
No.
government has the taxing authority. That's all run by like the state.
You
It-
could
Hospitality.
voluntarily pay a bid tax.
They could.
Well, then at the same time, would you be also asking all the hotels that have less than 26 rooms to also voluntarily pay? Yeah.
Yeah, he would. I can see.
Yeah.
'Cause I know like Brian Dixon, he said he would voluntarily pay the bid tax.
And I will point out the campground, the municipal campground does voluntarily pay the tax.
So you wouldn't ask, I'm assuming you wouldn't ask the actual owners of the property. You'd have to ask Airbnb since they're technically you only rent from Airbnb. You don't actually rent from the owner. It's like they're the middleman. You know what I'm saying?
And the campground is not structured.
Correct, not required, but the city still voluntarily pays into the bid.
But I know like, is it Patchers holds like has 16 or 18 people that it holds?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I've never been in there.
I think there's more in town than you think.
No, there's a lot.
Just look it up sometime. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're restricted where they can be too in certain parts of town.
Yeah, it's all dependent on zoning.
I know they've been talking about with the comprehensive planning update or the zoning updates, looking at short-term rentals and whether there needs to be changes with that as well.
Yeah, in the zoning, we're working on allowing more places, or at least conditional uses rather than a complete ban in certain locations. So at least people can come in and add those VRBO options to their portfolio if they choose.
And Deadwood's been trying to collect and they're getting nowhere. But
Yeah, I think it's all state hospitality.
All right, we're adjourned.
thank you.